it didn't shake you to your core. It didn't take you and it didn't rattle you in any way. You were just entertained.
I'm the son, I'm the prince, and I want my daddy back.
Yeah, so I think I'm a lot more positive on this than you.
Hello and welcome to the Film Angle, a podcast where we dive deep into the latest releases and unearth the classics to better our cinephilic curiosity. I'm Alex.
And I'm Kris.
And today, let's get into it. It's been a long time waiting. Let's pretend the Odyssey came out yesterday.
Well, for us, it came out yesterday.
Yes.
This is a big one. I wasn't scared to talk about this film, but there's such a big following with Christopher Nolan, and his movies are they are events every time they come out.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of expectation for everybody.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, you know that he doesn't make a movie by half a measure. So you're going into this kind of thinking, well, I'm going to get my money's worth anyway. And well, we'll get into it. I'm pretty sure I got my money's worth last night.
Yeah, it's a big
That's for
movie.
sure.
It's a big movie. We waited a long time for tickets. The IMAX sold out immediately. We should have thought about this. They started selling tickets a year in advance.
It's just people are going to hate me for saying this. I just don't like the principle of that.
Yeah,
I
get it.
It's you're celebrating something that's still in production.
Yeah,
It's just I feel like we shouldn't fall over ourselves for a filmmaker that much, even though it is Nolan, and he hasn't made a bad movie.
No. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing day to day. That's my biggest thing. It's like
Yeah.
We booked. I think the longest we've booked in a film since you've moved here has been Spider-Man on Sunday, which we booked maybe a week and a half in advance.
Yeah, because heaven forbid you're ever going to miss Spider-Man.
I'm going on holiday. I don't want to miss the new Spider-Man
I
film.
don't miss it too. I'm really excited. I mean, you're a super Spider-Man fan, and I'm a run below. I engage with Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man 2. It's my favorite superhero movie of all time. So I'm excited. I'm with you. I'm cheering you on and cheering for myself at the same time.
No, I can't wait. But this isn't the Spider-Man show.
No, that's
not
next
today. That's next week. The Odyssey. Yeah, so we didn't get tickets immediately. And then they were sold out. And we only wanted to see it in IMAX in Bristol. Which isn't 70mm, unfortunately. It isn't the big boy in London. But IMAX nonetheless.
Yeah.
Some refer to it as Limax because I don't think it's.
It's like the little Aldi version of IMAX.
Yeah. And Odeon Bristol, it's nice that we have an IMAX, but it is just.
But it's okay.
But it's big. That's the main thing. It's a big screen.
Yeah, the sound was good. We overcompensate by going a little bit closer. So it makes you feel almost like you're in a bigger IMAX screen. I think that's the way to go.
The IMAX screens we've been to, they kind of tear you up quite high, don't they? Whereas
an
this one
amphitheater.
just feels like a normal cinema screen, but the cinema screen is floor to ceiling big.
Although the only IMAX screen I've been to where you get a recliner. So that's for a big movie like
that's
this.
True.
That's
true.
I actually couldn't feel my legs.
Yeah. I did look into traveling for it at one point when everybody was just everybody was going crazy for it, and I thought, all right, there's an IMAX in Cheltenham, there's an IMAX in Cardiff,
in a different country.
In a different country, yes.
Technically.
But yeah, no, in the end, we were on it with the Bristol one. We were able to get our nice 6:30 screening on a Wednesday night. Only 3 IMAX screenings a day. I know this is so minutiae, but I think it's interesting to set the context of how big this film has had in terms of a release.
Yes.
And because it's so long as well, you're not getting a lot of screenings per day in the big format.
No.
Even so much so that films like Spider-Man aren't getting an IMAX release, and Disney are obviously having issues with this when it comes to later in the year with Doomsday and Dune. Dune are taking the IMAX screens, and
I think they're doing themselves a favor there.
Yeah.
Was it like a Infinity Vision?
Yeah,
which is a real thing.
They've brought in this new thing where there are screens. It's mainly in the US. I don't think they're doing it over here, or at least not that I'm aware. but Disney essentially say, "Oh, that's big and the sound's good, and like we'll
So
call it
they
Infinity
appraise the
Bridge."
screens beforehand and
Yes.
say, "Yep, you're up to snuff to play our amazing movie."
Which is what they did do for Star Wars back in the day. It might
Okay.
have been Empire Strikes Back,
Hmm.
where there was like a seal of approval on some of the screens, but they actually had somebody go out and assess the screens to make sure they were ready for it.
Hmm.
Whereas these days, I think we need that desperately, especially View Longwell Green. And
So it's kind of like some of them are being left to rot a little bit and to sort of sag as the years go by, and like the lamps are getting flickery.
I don't mind. Like, I honestly, after watching the Odyssey, I'm happy I saw it in IMAX.
Mhm.
I think any big screen will do. At the end of the day, it's a good
You're
film.
missing some of the frame. Like Dune,
Yeah.
I feel like Dune's the same. Where I'm like, when I saw it in IMAX both those times, I'm like, the verticality to the screen really like added a
It
sense of being
does.
engulfed by this.
It does add it. I hate the little shots they do where they show you like how much of the screen is cut off. I just don't like it. I think it's
If you didn't know that, it would
wouldn't
it would
matter.
soften the blow a
And
little bit more.
it's not like I think Nolan and other filmmakers have gone out and said like we're not like just centering the shot for IMAX and then like it's whatever the crop is on a normal HD format. They are thinking about the HD format.
Sure, of course.
So like it is then moved around a bit. So I don't know. Those do annoy me but I guess it's creating a sense of FOMO. It's eventizing cinema. People are going out for it. Yes, each ticket of ours cost nearly 20 quid.
Yeah, I don't feel upset about that.
I don't feel upset. No, you're right. But it is like cinema is getting expensive. And especially when we promote these big screen formats. One of the films yesterday was highlighted. What was the trailer that said it was like filmed for IMAX? I'm trying to think. And I just thought like, I don't need to see that film.
Was it Robert Eggers' Werewolf?
No, I don't think so.
Hmm.
Interesting tidbit about that film. You know how it's like very black and whitey, but like muted colors?
Yes, it swaps between monochrome and color.
Yeah, I don't think this has been verified, but people are saying because it highlights the blues and the yellows, it's actually kind of the color grade of it is actually how a dog or a wolf would see the world.
That's cool.
So that maybe that's what he's going for.
Nosferatu had some black and white in there too, didn't it?
Yeah, very, very dark.
Yeah.
Very, yeah. Doing his thing. Thing.
I saw a Nosferatu in IMAX. Looked cool.
Did you? Yeah, I saw it in a normal screen. And
The loud jump scares worked a little bit better.
yes, I can imagine. I think that was the one thing I appreciated with this IMAX screening of the Odyssey, and we'll come back now into the Odyssey, was the loudness. That was for me, was like, I was like,
Yes.
I'm glad I got my seats vibrating and with the bass and the booms.
With Ludwig Göransson's score, which there's drums and there's perpetuating drums that kind of build and build and
Yeah,
build. And
yeah.
you kind of like, you do forget to take a sip of your water for like 20 or 30 minutes. I did anyway. Like I was very entertained by the sound of this film.
Yeah, that was the big draw as soon as the film started, where I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm glad I'm seeing it big and loud because this is a big and loud film. But yeah, so yeah, Nolan, Odyssey, we got our tickets. How do you feel?
That is what happens.
That is what happened. What's your thoughts on Nolan going into the film? Like, what's been your relationship with him throughout the years in terms of him being a big filmmaker?
Okay. I guess it comes. I have admiration for him. I have admiration for him in terms of his dedication to practical technicality and kind of feeling contemporary, but also marrying with the old school. So that I feel like this film is kind of the ultimate marriage of those two sort of sensibilities. So going into this, I love his foray into the Batman sort of franchise. Oppenheimer, I guess, kind of put me off kilter a little bit because I'm not sure if I'm as in love with Oppenheimer as a lot of people are. I like the film quite a lot, but out of the Barbenheimer mayhem of that year, I guess it was the latter of the two that I enjoyed the most that summer. But so going into here, I was kind of feeling like I'm worried that I'm going to feel a little bit cold, especially when you're approaching like a piece of text from Homer from like 600, 700 BC, and that's so broad and studied and reinterpreted. It's almost like the Greek Bible in a way, like in a more sort of purposely fictionalized and more metaphoric way. So approaching that material was kind of scary to me, going like, is he just there's so much in the trailer here, so many destinations, so many characters. Are we just going to bounce off and hit the points but not feel anything or come to anything?
Mm.
And that's really ambitious for even just a 3-hour film. It's a lot of ground to cover. So
Yeah.
I guess I stayed my emotions and just went into the screen kind of being like, stay away from the hype, just see what the movie is. That's how I like to approach Nolan films in general.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I feel very similarly. I think the first time I was like, "Whoa, who is this guy?" was I had missed The Dark Knight in the cinema around well, it was
Okay.
2008, wasn't it?
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at that time, I don't know if that might have been the year I moved back to
Okay.
England. I can't remember exactly the reasons why, but then also like I liked Batman Begins, but I wasn't like, oh, I have to see the next one. I think I've reevaluated now, and I've since become like a much bigger Batman fan, and probably The Dark Knight was to do with that. But I remember getting the DVD for The Dark Knight for my for Christmas, and I remember chucking it on a few days later and watching it and being so blown away by
Yeah.
it that I immediately started it again. And I don't
Whoa,
do that with
okay.
films. I don't do that. Not since I was a kid, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I literally like was like, holy shit, what have I just watched? Press play, start again.
Yeah.
Just like I know that was it. I was just like, I didn't know a superhero film could be like this. I didn't know a film could this is like a modern day masterpiece.
It was definitely for people who, up until that point, probably never even liked superhero movies. It was even enough to get people like from various different backgrounds who just didn't enjoy these type of movies to get on board with this one because it's so
Yeah.
well done. It was so undeniable for the time.
Yeah. And then I think in between that was Inception, right?
Yeah, Inception, what was 2011?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember dragging my parents to the cinema to see that because I was like, this is the guy who did The Dark Knight. So this is like his director name is having more kind of stature now. And then obviously being very excited for The Dark Knight Rises.
That's such a weird. I went to see The Dark Knight in 2008 with friends, but I didn't see Inception in the cinema. So we've had a bit of a crossroad.
Yeah. And then I think that from then on, I think I've seen every film of his in the cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like every film he releases subsequently now, we will be seeing in IMAX on week 3 because we won't be able to get tickets.
And I think we should maybe discuss our Nolan rankings, maybe not right now, but do you want to do it after the review to see maybe the Odyssey places in those?
Definitely, and that was quite interesting as well because I kind of didn't realize how not little, but like I thought his filmography was bigger. Actually, looking back at it, I was surprised by how vast but succinct his work is. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, I look forward to having that conversation.
Yeah, no, 100%. Oh, Cody's coming in. You want to show everybody your duck?
Is it a duck?
It's actually Goose, but we call him Duck the Goose. Anyway, Nolan, Odyssey. So here we are. Oppenheimer has released in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was a fan. I think I preferred Oppenheimer over Barbie, actually.
Okay.
But they were like in tandem at the time.
It'd be interesting to rewatch.
I reevaluate Oppenheimer in my mind a little bit sometimes because I remember really liking it, but my biggest criticism was Nolan overcomplicates everything.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was very playful with time on this occasion.
And you were really playing catch up in that film a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I look back on it quite fondly. I do need to rewatch it, but I do very much like that film.
Mm-hmm.
Odyssey is obviously coming out. I'm excited, but like I'm not like crazy for it.
You told me that. Yeah, you're like I don't know how I feel.
Yeah, I think I'm not like a big swords and sandals guy anyway.
Ooh,
like I don't mind it, but it's not like.
Did you grow up with those sort of films? Like, did you have like a grandparent or your dad or anything like that, or anyone in your household just kind of being like, let's stick on Ben-Hur or Ten Commandments or anything?
I've not seen Ben-Hur or the Ten Commandments.
Yeah,
I've not seen Lawrence of Arabia. I should probably watch Lawrence of Arabia at some point.
Well, that's a very different thing. That's a different, like, that's more modern.
More modern, but like it's an epic in the same sense, right?
Yes.
Or am I wrong?
It's a widescreen format. Desert swept sort of epic. But yes, 100%.
So yeah, and do you know what? the IMAX preview that we saw, which had like the Trojan War
yeah.
and Avatar, I thought was like, that was good. I wasn't like,
Oh, really? I liked it a lot.
I
I thought it was quite intense.
I was like, that's fine.
Maybe you're just crossing the threshold of not feeling much anymore, Alex. Are you worrying about that? You don't,
I
you're getting less emotional.
I actually have been worrying about that because
I've noticed it since I've
Yeah.
you kind of like it takes a little bit more to excite you than it used to.
which saddens me a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, though I got very excited for Project Hail Mary.
Yes, I guess because you were invested in it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
So yeah, you had to read the Odyssey before this.
Well, I know. Have you read the Odyssey?
No, I can't say I have. It wasn't like
Yeah.
I think it's like one of those. Maybe I will get to it. This has kind of actually made me intrigued to get to it someday because it's such an anchor for a lot of stories and even Western culture
Yeah.
and cinema. A lot of movies are based on the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like shall we go spoiler free for a minute and then we'll just, it's very difficult to fully
Spoiler
because
for like thousands of years
years
old
old
story.
poem, yes. So it is difficult, but I think maybe like for people who want to preserve that, so we'll say spoiler free for a minute.
Sure.
But I really did like the Odyssey. I thought it was great, very, very entertaining. But because it's based on this literary text that I don't really have much knowledge of, I feel like some of my criticisms, if I was to like criticize it, would be like, well, that doesn't happen in the poem anyway. You know what I mean? Like we are adapting a poem, so you can't change the story really. Well,
Right.
I'm sure he has, but like, like.
Yeah, I mean, I did kind of do like just because I was interested, not because of this episode, because I was interested. I did kind of like read through the overview and like the key points in the story, and it does seem that this version of the Odyssey does quite specifically touch on points quite accurately. I mean, it misses a lot of stuff. It's like a 24 chapter. It's like a 24 section story. It's like a massive.
Yeah.
So I think he does a very good job of being quite faithful to it, despite the length.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the translators came out against it recently, didn't she?
Okay.
Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't. No.
No.
Can you educate?
Not fully.
Not fully.
Not without doing it a
You
disservice.
heard from the distance that somebody who's an actual expert on the Odyssey, not us, actually have an opinion.
But she
of
got a
the story.
backlash to that, saying that like
Mm.
she doesn't maybe understand films and the way
Okay.
they should be presented.
That's the whole crossover of book culture and film cultures always had this problem.
Yes.
Like I remember always going to the cinema to see like the new Harry Potter or whatever with my eldest sister, and she'd be like, "That didn't happen in the book, so this is like not good." And like,
Yeah.
but this is like if it did,
This is different.
if Harry Potter did spend time put Peeves in it would be a much lesser film. It's sort of like those little meandering moments that you gotta. You gotta, what's the point of going to see something that's a 1-to-1? I don't really see a lot of point in it unless the book is just like so perfect and it begs to be put on a screen. Yeah.
She said there wasn't enough sex in it.
My sister?
I know the translator whose name I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
So I feel like I've missed out on something here.
I mean, is it like sexual violence or like the sirens or something like that? Okay, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
So uneducated on this podcast.
Don't even remember the person I'm talking about.
But I have a lot of things that I can talk about the Odyssey today that kind of touch upon as cinematic history and what maybe is going through Nolan's mind or really the mind of the viewer watching it.
Yeah. What is going through Nolan's mind? What is? And I think maybe I can touch on that maybe as we get into spoilers, because I do feel like this film shares a lot of thematic threads with Oppenheimer, and I'm like, oh,
what's concerning him at the moment,
What's he interested in right now? And it seems to be this. But I think the third act of the film kind of ties the film together in a really nice way.
Okay.
So I wouldn't want to talk about that just yet.
Mm-hmm.
But initial spoiler-free reactions, and then we'll just start getting into it, man.
Look, I really, really like the movie quite a lot. So I think I'm a lot more positive on this than you. I am
positive. I am positive though.
Okay.
I don't think it was a bad movie. If anything, I find it hard to say what wasn't lifting it to the upper echelons for me. I find that difficult to articulate.
It just didn't. It didn't shake you to your core. It didn't take you and it didn't rattle you in any way. You were just entertained. Um, I it did speak to me in that sort of sense of that little boy sort of watching those like Ten Commandments, Charles Heston sort of movies, and how it was a real sort of 50-50 marriage of those sort of old, campy, over the top epics mixed with like a really contemporary, I'd actually say really avant garde take on sort of representing this world of gods and monsters in a way that's like not specific or um like physical representations of gods, but they're very much real and they're presented in different ways for the environment and through the design that Nolan's put in this world. I think it's a really clever piece of production. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how do you tackle something like this? Do you go down like the Clash of the Titans route with the Sam Worthington movie, where it's just like garbage CGI getting thrown everywhere? That's kind of like the version of this world that we're usually treated to.
Yeah.
Or do we go something that's a little bit more expressionist, like a Polanski or like a Tarkovsky movie, where it's just like it's more through the script and the dialogue,
Yeah.
and these things aren't really seen, but they're told. I think he kind of goes somewhere down the middle. He kind of splits the sea, for lack of a better term. And I just find that really fascinating. I was just kind of like wondering, where are we going to go next?
Mm.
I knew we were going to see the sirens, the cyclops, and those sort of things, but I wasn't really sure where the journey was going and how he was going to tackle it. Certainly visually, it is a bloody treat to see.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you do get your £20 worth.
This is what it's the craft that I was in awe of more than anything.
The craft is
like just
incredible.
seeing a film that looks so real because it is mainly real. You know what I mean? Like they're on location. All the sets are fully built. Everything is practical. Obviously, they're touching things up with CGI and stuff like that, but they're going out of their way to do like puppetry with the Cyclops for sections of it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like they're really going out their way to do some really cool things. And it's that where you're just like, I can't believe they did this for real. I can't believe they are in the sea right now on this boat and they are literally putting Matt Damon through the ringer to capture some like very, very cool shots.
Yes.
And really like it's a very atmospheric film because of that as well. So, yeah, it's like that's what I am most in awe of this film. I was highly entertained by that. I was highly entertained by the whole thing. The story was interesting. And, like, it's a 3-hour film, but it did fly by. And it flies by as well because it's a very breakneck pace.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I think
stop and smell the roses a lot. It's just going.
I actually kind of wish maybe another half an hour. Is that really
Yeah,
good?
no, I don't think that's bad at all. If anything, I'm kind of the same. I wish the film stopped and smelled the roses a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, those sections where he is, marooned on that island with Calypso, and even the beginning of the story, I guess, I think Nolan films have this problem in general. I think Oppenheimer had it too, where if you were to walk into the beginning of the Odyssey 5 minutes in, you'd think you were halfway through the film because that's just sort of his pacing is like hit the ground running.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just right here we are.
And it's very montagey as well. Like it's cut so it like flows and it's cutting to different locations. It's cutting back and forwards through time.
But it relaxed into it.
As Nolan likes to. It relaxes into itself sometimes when it has a set piece.
Yes.
So it's like it's all over the place, but not in a bad way. It's quite, it is well put together.
Yeah.
But then it applies the brakes a little bit so that you can actually like spend time with a scene. And that I think the first scene where it truly like slows down and pauses is the Cyclops scene, right? This is like, now we're going to spend 10-15 minutes with a structure and I'm not going to keep cutting back and forth through locations.
And it's also sort of weird as well because it's kind of at odds with the film you've been watching so far. To get this sort of feebly out of this world moment, everything's been pretty straight laced up until this point, and it's been quite realistic for lack of a better term. And then you get this sort of side story where you're suddenly leaning in. I think it's again that's what he's doing visually with the Cyclops, and he happens to be Poseidon's son. Oops.
Potentially.
Is that
Potentially.
true?
Well, I mean, like even Matt Damon questions that, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Odysseus.
He stops right there. I'm Matt Damon. I'm questioning this right now. Yeah, I think in the mythology, I think it actually is reading for it today was actually
We are supposed to
decided,
think like, yeah, this is it.
yeah. So yeah, it's I think the story takes a different sort of point of view on the Cyclops thing, where it kind of sees the Cyclops in a negative view,
Oh, interesting.
where a big part of this film is about hospitality. Remember, like
Zeus's law.
Zeus's law, anyone that comes to you for sanctuary or for food, you are supposed to welcome them with whatever you have.
Because there's always the thought that like a beggar could be a god in disguise. You
Yeah.
treat everyone as if they may be a god in your home.
Which is,
It's not a bad way to live.
it's not a bad way to live, but maybe overly trusting.
Yeah,
and
it is the crutch of Ithaca,
Mm-hmm.
and it is also the rule that Odysseus essentially breaks. He breaks his own morals in order to win a war, and then therefore sets off in motion the kind of
Yes.
the story.
Yes, this is like, that's what this story is, and I guess that's what's fascinated people for centuries and millennium, is that it is about the three dimensionality of what it is to be human. Especially what it is to be, I think the Greek environment is a very masculine environment and a very sort of ancient masculinity, which is sort of like, I think still a lot of people yearn for today. A lot of men yearn for.
Oh, there's a lot of back in the old days, men were men.
Yeah, they braced the sea and they took on any challenges. But this is
Boring.
I know, and well, we try. Life's not all about that, is it? So it is about a very flawed person who has he has morals and he has principles and very strong principles, but they're often tested, and it's a story about him in the moment, acting upon his whims and what he thinks is right in the moment, and also later on a story of self-reflection.
Yeah.
And the ripples of his actions, and it kind of tries to touch upon every single kind of emotion that a person can kind of go through. And the Greeks love these sort of stories because it's not just the Odyssey. They always try to do stories where it's somebody venturing in the sea because everything's thrown at them, and it's the best way to tell a story because it's an arduous journey.
And what you said earlier about the Odyssey almost being biblical in that sense, kind of that kind of tracks, doesn't it? Like in the Bible, there are a lot of stories where like people just get absolute shit thrown on them.
I guess the equivalent is like Moses or something.
Yeah. Or like, is it Job?
I mean,
he like loses his like sons and his wife and is blinded and stuff. I'm not.
Doesn't he sacrifice his son?
Yeah, maybe he does that, but like his life's in shit, and it's like, well, but it's okay because you're good to God.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was Bible studies with Alex.
Yeah, I mean, like those stories, I mean, like I do find that even if I'm not like attached to the religious aspect of them, or I don't believe in them, I do find them I think there is a purpose for telling an exaggerated, bloated, epicized version of what people can go through.
Yeah,
I do think there's a kind of like a purpose, and I think it still speaks to people to this day, and why people, despite it being a Nolan movie, still want to go see the Odyssey.
Yeah.
I think people would have flooded to see this anyway. It happened with Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And like, how many of us really did know the ins and outs of Oppenheimer before we went to see it?
No, absolutely. And then it follows that trajectory of like man does bad thing, and man must deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like those sort of stories.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with that.
And we watched Taxi Driver, and like for Paul Schrader is like one of those writers. He kind of we like to see middle-aged men go through the ringer and maybe get punished and maybe learn something along the way. I think that's just sort of like a fascinating, like, it's just an archetype that's existed for the whole existence of man. But I was quite enraptured by the whole story going through. I thought it propelled itself amazingly. I do think it's not worth underselling the fact that another filmmaker would have really struggled to have made this film. I really struggle to think of a filmmaker today that could have tackled it and got away with it, because it would have just got out of their hands. Yeah. It's so unwieldy, and like the fact that he managed to hone it in and wrestle it down to something that makes sense, is followable, says what it needs to say, and is epic and entertaining, I think it's a pretty remarkable achievement.
Yeah. Also, I don't think that anybody else would have been able to pull it off in the same way Nolan could have, because I don't think anybody else would have been given the money to just go ahead and do it in this way. You might have got another Clash of the Titans.
And he's self-aware that he knows that also.
Oh yeah, I think that's why he's doing it. He's like, right now I'm at the top of my game.
Yes.
They'll all throw money at me. I know I've got a built-in fan base that know that, like, when I'm creating films, they're getting an event. They're getting big screen entertainment. And like, so yeah, do you know what? I want to tackle the Odyssey. And like, if I do it in 2 films' time, the shine might have come off me a bit, and they might not give me the full amount of money. Doesn't look like it's going that way anytime soon. I think I think what are we, like a week and a half in now? And oh no, I'm probably 2 weeks in now, right?
Yeah.
But it's already crossed the 700 million worldwide mark. It's not looking at slowing down. It's probably on track to make $1 billion.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy money for that kind of film, right?
For that kind of film, because these kind of films are dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I really mean that. I mean, like, they did a Ben-Hur like nearly 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And it was done by like a sort of like not an unknown filmmaker, but a sort of a filmmaker. He didn't have the prowess of Nolan.
Yeah.
And I don't think the film was supposed to be that great either. But
no,
you know,
that's like when they were doing those like weird, like every now and then they'd like do this kind of film, and it would have Henry Cavill or some kind of like upcoming like hunky looking guy who was like okay at acting.
Yeah, you had a Kit Harington at like Pompeii and like, you know, and they're all just like, they just looked a bit naff and
CGI was like, I guess maybe in an abundance at that time, and maybe cheaper than what it was now.
I suppose so.
Maybe there's an element of that, but they just were like, yeah, just keep making these shit films that make.
But going back to those like golden age Hollywood epics, I mean, they were mostly done practical.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, have you ever watched like even just a scene from Cleopatra? And like,
yeah,
I would say that movie's a little bit boring, but when you're watching, there's like a procession scene where Cleopatra's coming into the city with like Mark Antony, with the Romans and everything. And there's like 1,000 people on screen. There's like elephants, there's tigers, and there's like structures that are like 3 stories high, and the screen is cluttered with just like absolute bombast and
thousands of extras,
really trying its best to simulate a time period that is obviously Hollywood eccentric, but like it's really trying its best to kind of show you the majesty.
Yeah.
And like I even think about Ridley Scott's Moses film. There was a Egypt Gods or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Joel Edgerton and
Chris
Egypt,
yeah.
Gods of Egypt, and it's just like that
slated, right?
Yeah, and that maybe cost like nearly 300 million at the time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was like one of the most expensive movies ever made.
Oh, shit.
And yeah, and it doesn't look like
maybe it truly was, like, because like Nolan, I don't think had 300 million for this, did he?
I mean, I don't think so.
It's probably not a million miles off, I imagine.
No. I guess like there's a trade-off in like when you go so practical and you're actually putting boats in the sea and you're doing interesting things like that, and you're shooting on all predominantly only IMAX.
I wonder how many of the actors as well like take a pay cut because they're like I want to work with Nolan.
I imagine the insurance for each actor was quite high in this film. Like there's a lot of grit and like splintery wood and opening yourself to like the elements in this movie. I don't know. I mean, like maybe that's the magic. Maybe he makes it look really arduous and hard, but like it does look like a hard day of work when you're on that set, and that's what these movies are kind of supposed to look like.
That's what it's for.
To make me kind of believe in it, and I believed in it, and it's weird that you're talking about realism in a story that's very spiritual and freaky and interesting and weird, and yeah, you come away thinking it. I think I've thought about the Troy movie, the Brad Pitt one.
Yeah, I've not seen it, and I thought about watching it prior to this, but everybody says it's bad.
It's a bad movie anyway, but this makes it just look even extra tackier, you know. It's just it'd be an interesting movie for you to go back and see. It's just like it's the Battle of Troy in just a completely different light. It's in daylight that one, but yeah.
Shall we take the guardrails off a bit then and go into spoilers?
Yeah,
not like we have to actively talk about spoilers, but I want to put like a spoiler warning in so that we can say, you know, like we can just chat about anything.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to do it,
Let's do
right?
it. Yeah, it's not
So
bad.
yeah, if you like, I don't think there's that much to spoil. I guess there's specifics on scenes and stuff like that, but like, if you want to go in blind or as blind as you can be after listening to the first half of this,
Yeah.
then skip. And but if you've seen it, which you probably have because it's been out for a few weeks now,
Yeah.
uh,
I would say, like, the thing that would spoil it for me if I didn't see the film is, like, if I knew the order of which things happened, and also there is something that happens in the latter part of the story, which I feel like it's better if you don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
So I will say for now, spoiler warning.
You've been warned.
You've been warned. Okay.
Okay.
Odyssey spoilers. Or like we can just chat with the guardrails off.
Okay. This is this is the oldest material we've ever spoiled.
Yes. Yeah.
We haven't spoiled, the Bible's younger.
The Bible's younger. Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. The creature stuff. I guess that's the main thing I want to talk about. That's the stuff I really, really enjoyed. This is a film of trials, essentially. Different islands with different horrors.
Yeah.
You have Odysseus shooting the Cyclops in the eye, which I thought was
Yeah.
that was his stupid moment. That was when, for me, I was like, this guy is not the hero I thought he was. He's arrogant.
Yes.
He's a little bit stupid.
Was it arrogant? Well, it was arrogance, but it was anger as well, because the Cyclops spits out the helmet of a fallen comrade.
Oh, that's true. I know the Cyclops was eating people, but they did go into its home,
Mm-hmm.
and
He takes it personally.
He does take it personally, but he's almost portrayed as being like almost quite animalistic, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. He's like, well, practical. He's like Mr. Practicality. It's like,
Yes.
well, we need it more than whoever else lives here, and if men die, it's weird because he's very loyal, but he's also unloyal at times.
Yeah.
Where he will choose moments to be loyal to his men and choose moments to kind of let them go.
Yes, that's so true. I was conflicted with some of that because I wasn't sure what it was trying to say, but I think this is a man who is conflicted with his own doing. And I think what this film does is show that what he did, being the architect essentially of the Trojan horse or the strategist behind that.
Yep.
He has, in a sense, broken the one law that he truly lives by, which is Zeus's law. He has snuck into somebody else's home and then kind of like murdered them.
Mm-hmm.
And then this film is basically him sneaking into lots of homes and murdering people, including his own home by the end of the film. So I guess it is kind of like all bets are off now that I've broken my rule, but I'm also dealing with the fact that I've broken my rule. And I'm also a little bit sad that people don't follow this rule like I thought everybody else did. So like when he goes to when they go to that first island, and they're like, everybody ran away, so we're just going to pillage the place. That's not very Zeus's law of them, is it?
Yeah. And I also really love not just Odysseus and his crew, but the way the wider world interprets Zeus's law as well.
Yeah.
You think about the suitors. So we have two stories going on. We have different sections of the Odysseus story and big set pieces of each sort of trial and tribulation. We also have his home life. We have Penelope, played by Anne Hathaway, and her son, played by Tom Holland, who are trying to investigate where Odysseus has been all these years. They still can't fathom the fact that he's gone. And also there's like 100 thirsty suitors at having banquet at the dinner table, waiting for the day where she lets her guard down and says, Odysseus is gone.
Yeah.
I can now be married. And so there's that.
Because there's like the political rules there are like, unless we heard that he's dead, like Tom Holland can't claim the throne. Penelope obviously doesn't want to give the throne to her son because he's just like a 20-year-old kid at this point.
Yes.
And also they both hope that Odysseus is alive. So yeah, I think, and then there's also a thing with like the tapestry that she's creating once that's finished.
Yes, and she's secretly unraveling it so that it delays the process even further.
What do you think of like I don't know, like
I think people back then were crazy.
what do you think about like Rob Pattinson and stuff like that? Because
Very
he for me was like one of the MVPs.
Very fun.
He's just so good at playing that type of character.
Sort of doing his Mickey 17 voice a little bit.
Yeah, he's just so good. And the guy they got to play the younger version of him,
yeah,
just great.
Yeah, they got like the angled jaw line.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was saying about the Zeus's Law thing that was kind of interesting about that is, his Robert Pattinson's crew, like they plan to secretly murder Tom Holland behind his back so that they kind of like skip a beat, they skip a process.
But they've got to do it in a way where they're allowed.
Where they're allowed to do.
They're not allowed to just murder him outright. But they get to the point where they're getting quite frustrated by the end where they're thinking about just doing that anyway.
And there's a lot of like interpreting that law in a different way. We have like sort of the kind of, what is he? John Leguizamo who plays him, who's like the
sheep
blind
herder,
man.
the shepherd, the guy who's kind of been by Odysseus's side. And
the unassuming man in his court.
Mentored his son.
Yeah.
Just been like one of
That was mentor.
True. Also throws a dog off of a mountain at the start of the film.
For comedic relief.
But you still find your way back to love him.
Well, because it's thousands of years ago and you're like, yeah, times be hard.
Yeah. it's like in that was it I can't remember the film now. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just sometimes bad things are done to animals out of necessity in those kind of like world of work and stuff like that.
The culture is
the culture.
Yeah.
But you weren't so sure he did throw it off the mountain. Me and Lauren
because
think
it looks
it
does physically look like he does it,
but you think he just places him down.
I don't know at this point.
I need to find out.
The rest of his actions contradict a man that would do that.
Yeah.
But then I don't know, maybe just like there's a ceremony of puppies and like I don't know, they do it differently.
There is some good dog stuff in this film though. Because the film didn't touch me all that much emotionally. Like I wasn't feeling moved by a lot of the film, but there is the scene at the end where it's really sad. Like the old dog is put on a dung pile. It's already past its life essentially.
It's 20 years old
and it's waiting for the day Odysseus returns. And it does that little tail wag when he returns and then dies. Oh.
Yeah. And and we hadn't seen the dog for about an hour of the movie at that point. So it made me I thought the dog was already dead. And then it was like the horrible realization that he'd been on the dung pile for like weeks or something at that point.
I don't know.
And like
probably 7 years. The way Nolan throws around time like this.
I mean, well, it didn't prompt very positive thinking for me. Anyway.
Do you find that? I know this is another tangent, but I talk about the timing thing. But like, I find it difficult to comprehend the timing of things in this film when they were on the beach for 10 years. It's like you were just on a beach for 10 years. You're not doing anything.
Well, it's the fact
sieging Troy, I guess, but
yes,
sieging or whatever you call.
Yeah, that bit was probably the time thing was harder to kind of imagine. That was a bit more like a theory. I thought you were talking about the Calypso stuff, where I'm like, he was, his mind
Calypso.
was,
That is one of that. Though, if we would,
you love the Lotus Floor.
yeah, you do get some dodgy Nolan dialogue in this film, and that is one of them. Is the
yes,
don't take too much of that. But I love it. Don't eat the lotus.
I've been there, brother. Yeah, 100%.
Well, you've eaten too much lotus flower.
I mean, like, I just swap it with like a burger or like a pizza or something like that. I think that was the pizza of its time.
But I guess he's like drugging himself to forget his.
Yeah, he's Nolan himself. Yeah.
The Calypso stuff was the one part for me where it was like, even though we keep cutting back to it, I feel like not enough time was spent figuring out what on earth even happened there. And this is where like the A-list cast does sometimes put you off. It's like it's just big faces after big faces, and I kind of forgot Charlize Theron was in it. And then when she appeared, I was like, bloody hell, Charlize
Being too big a face for a small role.
Yeah, but like Matt Damon's bigger than her. Tom Holland's probably arguably bigger than her right now.
I think she's just got like
she's very Hollywood face.
Yeah, she is a model, isn't she? And
I know she's not from Hollywood, but
yeah, she did look like she was, because she's in like a sort of fishnet fit, and it did look like she was doing some sort of like.
It was a lot more costumey there for me.
Yeah, nautical perfume advert or something like that.
And I would have liked to have spent more time there to like truly understand what happened. And
I think maybe the story would have more going on there.
I just didn't believe Charlize Theron's love for Odysseus. They just didn't.
Yeah.
They just didn't have the chemistry that you see, at least like in the small moments that Matt Damon and Anne Hathaway have as Odysseus and Penelope. There's chemistry there, but in the small moments between Odysseus and Calypso, I wasn't feeling it. And when they revealed that like she had trapped him on the island because she loved him so much, I was like, I don't know, I'm not buying.
I mean, yeah, he just sits there and kind of feel sorry for himself.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I guess like the film does suffer. It's probably one of the better Nolan films for its female characters, but he does get a bit of stick for not being able to write them too well. But a lot of his films are like, this is a man's world, and the women are just like have to deal with this. And this is another film where like the women are just kind of like either in love or waiting for Odysseus. And so yeah, maybe it suffers a little bit from there. Like female characters not really given much to.
Yeah. Do you think it would have been good if they had a scene of him getting to Calypso's island, like having an initial sort of interaction with her? Or
like maybe just like maybe a slower build up of her kind of realizing that she loves him. Like he gets shipwrecked there, she brings him in, and then she realizes like, bloody hell, this guy, like, his leadership, his warriorism, or whatever it is that like draws her to him.
He's too sad to kind of buy that love, isn't he, at that moment?
But there is like do you know this about the fact that IMAX can't go longer than 3 hours?
No, I did not know that.
So because they're shooting on 70mm film, a projector would not physically be able to run a
fit
film.
the unit.
Yeah. So like they had to keep it under 3 hours for it to even be shot, for it to be shown at the IMAX cinema.
To fit into the
to fit on the 70mm projection screens that Nolan obviously intended it to be at. So yeah, that's why it's under 3 hours. But there was a bigger cut of the film, but it just physically couldn't be in it. So like there's probably somewhere out there where like you said, like it would have been nice to have another half an hour. It would have been nice maybe just to like sit with a character for a minute instead of just like breezing through their plot.
I think so. I agree with you on that, actually.
I don't know who Tom Holland is really outside of like his archetypal I'm the son, I'm the prince, and I want my daddy back.
Yeah.
You know, like who is he actually outside of Odysseus' shadow? So I guess
I that's the thing. You're kind of drawing from characters who probably in the original text are probably written quite simply, especially sort of those peripheral characters. I do think he does, to give him credit, I think everybody loves to kind of like shit on Tom Holland and be like, oh, isn't he kind of lost in the sea of actors? But like, I do think that he plays the dutiful yet naive and keen son pretty well. I
think he was good.
Yeah,
and he looks good in a Greek outfit.
Yeah,
like,
he looks
at
the part.
The end where he's got like that proper hard armor on. He's got a little headband.
Yeah,
you're like, yeah, okay, you look like a Greek god.
Yes, you do, like a demigod or something.
Yeah,
like
he's got the physique for it. When you pair him in scenes with some bigger actors.
Yeah, and Anne Hathaway is doing some really great work here.
Whereas I guess he doesn't have to be as emotional in this film, so I guess he's not given the scenes to be able to showcase like such a wide range. But yeah, you do have Penelope or Anne Hathaway kind of like having these like insane moments of emotion and powerfulness, like on a backboard that is just like Tom Holland's somewhat blank face.
It sort of works for me because
it does work.
He does look like, it actually does look like the actor Tom Holland is be like, don't eat me right now. Like you're just like, oh, like you didn't tell me you were going to perform this scene that well, but it works for the character a little bit too because he's sort of a gape and a little bit taken back by the moment.
I don't think it fully helps his case.
Okay.
That the whole marketing for this film was like him being like, wow, I was on a real film for once.
Yeah.
Like, I think that shtick kind of like I felt it in the film a little bit of like, oh, isn't it nice they've allowed Tom Holland in a real film? It's good they've taken a chance on this guy.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? This is a film with so many performances and they could all get lost. But I feel like pretty much everybody does a really great job.
And there's not many of the actors get a lot of screen time, you know? Odysseus, Tom Holland, Penelope, probably your main ones maybe.
I mean,
maybe some of the crew.
Yeah, you got like is it Hamish Patel?
Yeah. He has quite a good chunk. But like some of the people they've been like throwing around the press tour, your John Berthnells, your Zendayas, your Lupita Nyong'os, they're not in it.
Yes, but they do strike, but they are memorable.
But they are memorable.
And they
They
just
are
strike an
memorable.
image whenever they come on screen. And I really liked the Samantha Morton section.
Oh yeah, of course.
By
Of
Cersei,
course.
yeah.
Yeah, who like arguably
Was a lot of people regard her as one of the greatest actors on the planet.
Yeah,
That's like-
yeah.
She's an Oscar winner as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
she's really good. I watched More Than Calla recently.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, that's the ultimate showcase of her. Yeah,
Fell in love with that. That was such a great film. Such a great film.
yeah. I do like. I don't feel like we see enough of her.
No. She did do a bit
little
of like
TV.
TV for a
Yeah.
while, didn't she? Yeah. But yeah, she's given. And everybody's saying like, oh yeah, she was only on like set for a couple of days or whatever. Like she's got a very small role. But I was like, pretty sure she has a bigger role than Zendaya in this, right?
Yeah. I mean, to me, more memorable.
Yeah.
And has more dialogue. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean Zendaya, and that's not to take away from Zendaya's performance. I think she's great.
She is more of a symbol.
Yeah. I mean, they're all archetypes, really, at the end of the day, aren't they? I guess symbols and stuff.
I mean, like someone comes up to you and say, "You're going to be playing Athena, the Greek goddess."
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much room for different emotions. I mean,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that is the text. Like
in the script, yeah.
You're playing a god or you're playing a normal person, and the normal person is either good or bad.
Yeah. Well, the normal person suffers the flaws of the gods and
Yeah.
and everything. You know,
Yeah.
as like a person in the Greek world is almost like every god kind of amalgamated into one person, where a god is just like one archetype. They're straight as an arrow to what their conviction of what they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that was interesting. Yeah, but the practical effects of that.
Oh, the Samantha Morton scene.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So she plays Cersei.
Yeah.
Cersei. Who?
Which apparently there's another text. There's another book.
Oh.
But it's from her. It's the Odysseus story from her point of view.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
apparently that's worth reading too.
Yes. So they end up another island.
Mhm.
The crew go off, leaving Odysseus because they're a little bit. They think he's basically been cursed at this point for his wrongdoings with the Cyclops
Mhm.
and Poseidon and all this kind of stuff. They want him to stay with the boat whilst they try and find a meal. Come across his hut. Lady feeds them a big
cats. There's like a random lion chilling about.
Yeah, jaguar, I think,
Yeah.
in there, tiger, and you're like, oh, what's going on here? And these animals aren't attacking them. They end up in the hut. She gives them a big bowl of like broth and meat, and then they almost like they
Disgusting.
can't. Yeah,
Most disgusting looking stew I've ever seen in
yeah,
my
they
life.
can't stop eating it, and as they're eating it, they're almost like choking on it, and then she starts kind of like morphing their faces and
Yeah.
turning them into pigs.
Oh,
In what is like one of the coolest sequences in the film.
It reminded me of like, it's so different in tone, but the Beetlejuice. Have you ever seen Beetlejuice? You haven't seen Beetlejuice before, but there's that scene where he like pulls their faces and morphs them into like these really weird, grotesque shapes, and it's just like that. It's almost like she's playing with like Play-Doh or plasticine.
Yeah.
But it's also like he's very clever with the camera. It's very like in shadow. It's very you're kind of trying to like get your head around to see what she's doing, but you're still seeing it very vividly.
Yeah. It is probably like one of the most memorable scenes, I think, in the film, right?
Oh, it's grotesque.
Yeah.
The sound, the sound plays a really big part in that too.
Mm.
But producer Lauren made a really good point last night. She said it was very comparable to the Spirited Away scene where her parents get turned into pigs.
Yeah.
It was really like it was just like that. It was a really cool scene, and just seeing that she wasn't just one dimensional too, that she had other aspects to her. Whenever Matt Damon comes along later on after smelling a rat and tries to inspect the situation, and like, you know, there's tension there. It's so simple. It's Hansel and Gretel storytelling.
Yeah.
That is as old as time, but it's still like really gripping, isn't it? Like how we still like these types of mini stories. And
it's cool to see them treated seriously like this, but done in a way that's like, yeah, this feels real. And Nolan's always been very good at that, like grounding these things.
yeah, making magic feel like I can understand a time where people could feel like magic was real if it was presented in this
Yeah.
through rumors and through fire camp stories, and you could start to
songs.
believe this world, can you?
Yeah.
And like, you know, like, they mentioned Poseidon. Poseidon's angry at us. Zeus is angry at us. There's no representation of that.
No, you don't see them, but you hear
For the environment.
thunderclaps, and obviously when they're on the sea, it's rough and it's like seasick inducing.
How much of this is coincidence? You know?
Yeah, exactly. But you can see, but when at that time when you don't have much to where you don't have the historical or the scientific context, like you would be drawing on gods like this. Be like, yeah, we've angered the sea god.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is fascinating. Oh, I did really enjoy my time with this.
I'm not that down on it. I'm not down on like so if we're going into like star ratings, I'm like a 4.5. I don't think I can quite give
Whoa, well, that's higher than I thought.
Yeah, I think you thought I hated it. I think I just was like
I didn't expect 4.5. I thought you were like 3.5. Maybe a 4. Maybe
I'm not 3.5. No, it's too well crafted for that, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm just like I am left feeling a bit caught. I didn't feel that emotional during it. I was in awe, but my favorite 5-star films, there's always a moment in them where like something happens and it doesn't always have to be story, but like I get goosebumps. Like someone's just like wow. And I think in this I'm in awe, but I'm not like wow.
Yeah.
I don't think.
There has to be something in you emotionally that's either disturbed or awakened or...
I loved a lot of it. I loved what I was looking at. I could have easily taken another hour of this film. You know what I mean?
Love the dead. Like
when we see like a somewhat representation of an underworld or the humans coming up from the underworld.
Yes, and that reminded me so much, as I spoke about Polanski earlier, like the Roman Polanski Macbeth film has a lot of this sort of stuff. There's like smoky atmosphere with just like it's almost as if Nolan didn't have the budget and it's like a creative filmmaker just came along and said like, what can I do with this little money I have? And I've got fabrics and shadow and makeup. Let's do this. And it's like just a really cool way of doing something.
Agreed.
I'm really up for that because I think we fall into the trap of like these stories are so old that our version of what the visuals of what these gods or what these creatures look like are become archetypes. But why are they archetypes? Because they should be. He knows what they look like.
Yeah,
you know they should be reinterpreted multiple times, and I think he definitely makes a stop on that. I love the Agamemnon like outfit back here.
Yeah, it's
like,
cool. It doesn't make any sense, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
But then a lot of this film doesn't make that much sense if you were like, it's not placed in history. It is like it is a representation of a story because you've got like Americans doing English accents, you've got English people doing American accents. It's accenting all over the board, and Agamemnon's outfit like it doesn't make sense, choice. But it's cool. It's kind of he's an imposing character. He gets an imposing costume. You want him to stick out compared to other characters. He sticks out. Done. It's cool. I think that's it. This film isn't fussed about being like, oh, I have to like have a bunch of Greeks and all this kind of stuff. It's like, no, this is a story, and these are archetypes. These are and I'm just gonna fit people in that look the part.
Yeah, I feel compelled to chase the original Homer poem like someday.
Yeah,
it has got me excited. Greek mythology is just interesting.
It
is like it is really cool, and I'm even seeing like there's a lot of like arguments about Ithaca, like where Odysseus is from, and the main half of the story is placed there. There's a lot of like debate among historians and like locals in Greece that like which island actually is Ithaca, and they all
weren't we next to Ithaca in Kefalonia?
So it's Ithaca. Is now
so
Ithaca. So these are all fictional islands in the story.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm 100% sure. These are all mostly fictionalized places, but the story is so accurately and so told, like the geography of where he's describing is so accurate that people for thousands of years have speculated that he's based off real islands, real locations. So Ithaca is just like the island is just coincidentally it sounds like Ithaca, but a lot of people, most historians, kind of like think that's what it's based on, which is that you're right. It's a small neighboring island to Kefalonia. Although don't
they have like they say it's like Homer's rest place?
Yes,
on that island, right?
I think so. And but the mayor of Kefalonia thinks Kefalonia was Ithaca.
Oh.
So there's a lot of like there's a lot of like.
So we might have been.
We want to be the
It would make sense that Kefalonia in this film would be more Ithaca because of like it seems bigger than just the Ithaca that we were next to was like a tiny island.
Yeah, and I think where Troy is supposed to be is very southern sort of section of that sort of Ionian Sea, and then Kefalonia is like far away.
I was about to say, Troy can't have been in Greece though, right?
I have no idea.
Because it takes them so long to get home.
Again, that's a speculative thing too.
Yeah, because it's a pretty globe-trotting film. It feels like it. It doesn't feel like they've just like gone around the corner to fight somebody.
I was thinking of that too, but I'm thinking like this is BC. Like these aren't the ships of like the pirate era or anything.
Yeah.
These are very thimble little like they're controlled by oars and they have one sail.
Yeah.
Like those things aren't getting far very quickly.
No, it's true, but
Mediterranean is like the Atlantic for them.
Yeah.
I suppose.
it does take years.
Yeah, and they get put off course.
Yeah.
What a terrible time to be alive.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, but it is cool. And like who's to know, like I don't know with the translation if it's similar to like the Bible where these stories get like passed on so many times, they get retranslated, what's changed, and that's so fascinating. But it's it makes me want to delve deeper. And that's a really cool job that you've done that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah. So happy to put the Odyssey to bed.
Yeah, I'm still trying to like struggle to kind of articulate why sometimes to me it felt like
There's
not a
movies.
film.
It's like when I've seen a lot of people like going on Instagram or on YouTube being like the Odyssey or this epic, and a lot of them lose. But then the Lord of the Rings always beats the Odyssey when people are comparing them. And I think what's the thing that the Lord of the Rings has that the Odyssey doesn't have? I mean, one's completely like based on fiction, but I think the Lord of the Rings has that heart, and and you do feel something.
The way this film is edited and the way it flows, and because Nolan's so interested in time and he doesn't like presenting things in a chronological order, he wants to cut in between in and out, and it's very montagey. It almost feels like the film is bigger than the story and the characters, whereas something like Lord of the Rings is all about the story and the characters. Yeah, and it just so happens to be visually fantastic as well. But we are telling a story, and we want to follow these characters. Whereas, like I was saying earlier, like you never really feel like you spend any time with these characters. You're just like you're cutting in and out of plot, really, more than anything.
Yeah, and that's where I agree with you. I think that extra half an hour, I'd be interested to see that version. Just to see if we slow those edits down a little bit. We have a little bit more of Odysseus kind of reflecting and the world reflecting on this story a little bit more. Would really, if he would get into that sort of 5-star territory, just really get me, because it did spawn thought, and it did spawn like sort of thoughts of the ethics of the story and of Odysseus, but I didn't have the time to fully explore those. And I don't always love to go home away from the cinema to think about those things. To kind of have the time in the movie to think about it too. Yeah. So,
agreed. And maybe that, maybe as much as we love IMAX and we love filming it on IMAX, and they made cameras specifically to be able to film dialogue scenes in this, because usually IMAX characters are very loud. There are limitations maybe that we need to acknowledge as well. One being you can't have a film longer than 3 hours when maybe something like this needed it.
Surely that's going to change one day.
Potentially. Maybe not if you're shooting on film, maybe if you're filming on IMAX digital, then And then the other thing I think is, and this is something I mentioned last night to you guys, was that one scene where Penelope is shouting at Tom Holland, and it feels like it's struggling to focus on her. So I Googled this, and a lot of people think that the film is quite blurry in places. Now, I will say this was probably the only scene, there was maybe one other where I noticed that the focus was like maybe struggling a little bit. And it is to do with the cameras. So like 99% of this film, fantastic. Obviously,
the performance was too good; they couldn't retake it.
Well, yeah, she's moving in and out, and you have to manually focus it, and there's no technology behind like being able to like autofocus it. But it almost looks like the camera's trying to autofocus on it. If you get like a DSLR, and it just like it's constantly trying to figure out where the face is.
Yes.
It feels like it's doing that, and it feels like it's doing it a second too late. I don't want to like
perhaps I'm
poo on the craft of the focus puller that's doing it. But it did take me out of that scene where I was like, oh, I would have maybe like done another take.
I mean, I noticed it. He couldn't notice it, but I think I'm not here to defend because I don't have that relationship to this film. I don't feel.
And I'm not a filmmaker. I'm not a filmmaker.
Yeah, and the performance is fantastic in that scene, and I understand that, but I think because it's such a wobbly moment for both of those characters, it kind of goes in tandem with the moment.
Yeah.
So I kind of give it a pass for that. So it didn't like take me out. But yeah, it's definitely there for sure. Do you know those bits of Anne Hathaway? Because I know she starred and won the Oscar for Les Mis, the Tom Hooper film. But those close-ups did look very Tom Hooper-y. Sometimes, where he just likes to put the camera right up to see every pore and every bit of blood cell on there. But yeah.
There's a lot of close-ups in this film.
Yeah.
But so big IMAX film, but like there's a lot of close-ups, which I think is what Oppenheimer, I was like, this doesn't need to be seen in IMAX. Whereas I do feel like the Odyssey, I benefited from watching it in IMAX.
Definitely.
But I don't like with Oppenheimer, that was a lot of close-up shots.
Yes, there was a lot of that, but I guess it was the big set piece. So I don't like to call it set piece because that's quite like, for the tone of that film. But yeah, it's
just go watch the Odyssey however you want, I think.
I do like,
if you're a film fan, try watch it in IMAX. But
100%.
If you haven't got 20 quid to spare on a ticket, I don't think you.
And I think Nolan would rather you just see the movie.
Yeah, like I don't, you're not going to be missing that much.
Yeah,
because he's going to make this picture look better.
Yeah, you just don't get the brush.
But you do. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
I mean, though, like Dune, like you definitely missed some of the image in that. I watched that back at home and I was like, oh, I'm missing some of the image here.
Sand, missing sand and sky.
Yeah, but even some of the ships, I like that. Yeah. I mean, people put time into making those things.
They do. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'm like one of those people. I do like seeing things in IMAX.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Even little movies.
When I should, I will.
Yeah.
When I don't have to, I won't.
Let's put that on the poster.
The next, I'm definitely gonna watch Dune in IMAX. Part 3, Messiah, whatever we're calling it.
Yeah.
Are we calling it Messiah or are we calling it Part 3? I can't remember now.
Dune, I think I did see a Part 3 last time. I think it was originally Dune Messiah, but they're like, come on, people.
Part 1 and Part 2 did. Might as well Part 3,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Odyssey. Where does it sit then in the Nolan canon?
Well,
should we do a little mini top 5?
Should we do our rankings? Yeah. And see if it pops up at all.
Oh, he's got phone.
I would love to hear what. Where is my phone?
It's to the bottom left of you.
Okay. I would love to hear, Alex, first of all, what your number 5 is, or let's just see if there's any crossover here, because the filmography is shorter. I will say I haven't seen Insomnia. I have to admit.
I see. Here's the thing.
Or Following.
I have almost been like persuaded not to put Insomnia on the list. However, when I was younger and I watched Insomnia, I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Centurion.
Yeah. So, I know people say it's good, but it's like not Nolan's best, and they put it down in like some people put it in as the least best film.
I
think I'd need to rewatch it before I definitely put it in my top 5. So I've been convinced otherwise of that. Okay. So I am at the moment my 5. I would either put Odyssey or Oppenheimer. I think I'm between the two. Oppenheimer.
So they're both on there. They're both in the top 5.
No, as in like they're fighting for 5th place.
Oh, okay.
They're 5th and 6th.
Okay.
In my top 5.
I know what I would go for you based on what you've been saying.
I need to sit with it a bit. I feel like I have more issues with Oppenheimer than I do Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
But am I maybe looking back favorably on Oppenheimer because it's like the thinking man's film? Maybe?
What was it like the first time you saw Oppenheimer?
I've only seen it once.
Oh, right, okay. So what was the experience of seeing that compared to the experience of this? Was it lesser? Were you less entertained by Oppenheimer and not?
Yeah,
that film's sole purpose was entertainment?
I think you're right. I think maybe I would put Odyssey above at this point. Maybe.
Okay. So number 5.
I want to rewatch both now. Yeah. What about yours? What's your number 5?
Dude, I'm exactly the same. I put Odyssey as number 5.
Odyssey is number 5. Yeah.
Yeah. There is obviously an element of recency bias, but I think we're both being restrained there by putting it at number 5 because I think I had a really great experience with this. But There's 4 movies on here that I would definitely watch again, and
Yeah,
I have watched again.
I'm not sure how much it could move up the list.
Yeah.
Is your least favorite? If we were to go like least favorite, I know we're only doing top 5, but would you put like Tenet as your least favorite out of interest? I know some people have reevaluated it, but I did not enjoy Tenet. I think that's his one true dud.
No, I need to rewatch that. It's the whole COVID bubble
Yeah.
again, I think. But no, I don't think that would be my lowest, to be honest.
What would you put? Dawn of Roses?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
A
Maybe
film that I feel like a lot of it just doesn't quite work.
when I first saw it, I thought it was fantastic.
Oh yeah, but we were all caught up in the moment.
Yeah, so true. And then you think about it. All right, my number 4, and this is a reevaluation as well, because for some reason there has been about a year of my life in the past year where I thought I didn't like this film,
Okay.
and then I went back and looked at my review and I was like, oh, I was high on this film. I don't know what I'm thinking. I need to rewatch it again. So because I reread my review, I was like, oh, I was really into this. Dunkirk.
Yes.
That's my number 4.
You know what? I'm actually really jealous. Spoiler alert, it's not on my list, but I'm really jealous because I was toying with it,
Yeah.
and I think it's a really intense. Maybe it's his best crafted movie. Yeah, the sound design. I saw that, and I was like, flipping it. It nearly blew a hole for me. It was so intense an experience, you know.
I didn't see that in IMAX. Where were you to see that in IMAX?
It was on the View mega screen that they had on time, which was really loud. I think it was even louder than our IMAX screens are.
Yeah, I was just thinking then, did that come out before I met you?
Yes, because that was pre the screen coming out. It was like the year or two before it came out, right? Yeah. I saw the really View's old mega
No, I
screen.
just mean like I thought maybe you were still in Northern Ireland at that point.
No, I was here.
Oh, you were here.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly when it came out, but I remember seeing the View, probably on the mega screen as well with my parents. I vividly remember the torpedo scene because my great granddad died in World War II on a ship that was torpedoed. So I was like, and it's quite a visceral scene. So I was like, oh shit, that must be
Putting yourself in.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
must be what it was like.
I remember. I that's the scene I think of too, because I don't have the connection that you do, but the cry of the ship as it's sinking, like that sound of steel and metal just like whining as everybody inside is like,
Yeah.
camera is just like doing really interesting things, and again, it looks like an impossible scene to shoot.
Yeah.
That movie's just intense
Yeah.
ride. A very good pick.
That stays with me a lot. What's your 4? Sorry.
4 is, I liked. We all like to be the cool kid at one point of be the contrarian that didn't like this movie, but it does have such a significant foothold on the culture. I did enjoy it when I watched it. Inception.
Yeah.
I am going to put it as number 4 because it is, again, a very self-indulgent Nolan film, but it's one that I can't help but be really entertained whenever I do see it. And I actually do. It's one I keep toying with myself to put it on again, and I am looking forward to rewatching it. There's a reason why people talk about it.
I am not as hot. If I find it fun, and I don't think it's like the worst film in the world or anything like that, but I do subscribe to like Mark Commode's like famous line of like it's a smart film for stupid people or something like that. When I first watched it, great, solid.
Oh, I never kind of was subscribed to that camp of like, oh my god, this movie's incredible because it's beyond me. I just find it quite inventive and fun, and there's some really cool set pieces in that.
That's fair. It's lower down on my list. It doesn't make my top 5, but that's fair. So my number 3 is The Prestige. I think it's a great film, and I came to this one quite late. I don't think I watched this until I was in uni. I have a thing about magic and magicians.
No,
I don't find it that interesting.
Oh, I'm with you, man. I'm like, I've never been like, oh, I know it's a trick at the end of the day. So I'm like, yeah, the dexterity of you doing it's impressive, but I'm never gonna be like, whoa, what have you done? Like it's it's a craft, like any other craft. You've learned it, yeah.
Yeah. So this film like never like interested me to like catch up with it, but then when I did, I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. Amazing twists and turns.
Yeah, but it's about illusion.
It's about illusion. It's smart. It's clever. And the second time I rewatched it, I forgot the main twist.
Yeah.
So I was almost like watching it for the first time again, and when I caught on and I remember what the twist was, I was like, this is great. This is such a good fun film, and like I've shown this to Em, and she loves it as well. Like, yeah, The Prestige just such a crowd pleaser, I think, of like a fun, twisty film, and it's like Nolan really settling into like the kind of films he wants to make in that era, I think.
Absolutely. It's also my number 3.
Yeah.
I love The Prestige. It's like kind of the first Nolan film I fell in love with. I
Mm.
think it's just one of those ones I kind of turned on at a young age. It was like, this is so entertaining and such cool performances. Like David Bowie turns up as Nikolai Tesla. Like, it's some really cool things. And it's like, I loved him in this sort of period drama mode, but it's all about egos
Mm.
and it's so over the top. It's a grimy Victorian setting. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably his most entertaining film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Probably his most rewatchable film.
Yeah. And then 2 and 1 are kind of interchangeable, but I'll set.
I think we're gonna be the same.
I'm gonna set them in stone right now. Number 2, I think for me, is gonna be The Dark Knight.
Okay, we're just
Obviously, I spoke about it at the top of the film, like the top of the episode, should I say? Another level for superhero films, and just I think really
is time being the factor, like the distance of like how far that movie is away from.
potentially,
From you,
potentially,
going away?
and I think, yeah, I still love it. I still hold it in high regard, and I haven't watched it in a few years now. But like, I think if I was to put it on, I'd be just as in love with it as I was day one. I do truly think it's a fantastic film, and I struggle not putting it as number one on the list just because I really think it kickstarted a different period of like film watching for me at the time. And I think it did for a lot of people my age, which was kind of like, wow, you can make films like this. And I think the expectations, that bar was set high after that film for everything else that followed it.
That we can treat this sort of type of film seriously, and the world can see it as like an Oscar contender, and a big hitter. Yeah, I did put Interstellar as number 2.
Yep.
I'm just gonna say as well, I put Dark Knight as number 1.
Okay, yeah, I was
So
interchangeable.
I think we're both swapped. I think because my grind is most familiar with The Dark Knight. I know that film so well. I'm so familiar with it. I know what it solicits in me: excitement, thrills, everything. The Heath Ledger performance, obviously, and everything about that film is just firing all cylinders, and it's so reliable to put on.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and when you find out there's somebody in your life ever who hasn't watched The Dark Knight, you're like, let's watch this right now. You're gonna have your mind blown. If you don't like superhero movies, well, like you don't like this one. I guess there's no, it's not your genre. So maybe Interstellar might replace that one day, but I think it's just because it's been a while since I've seen Interstellar. But I'm very excited for the next opportunity to catch up with it because it could replace it.
Well, funnily enough, my number 1 is Interstellar, but the interesting fact about Interstellar for me, I've only ever seen it once.
Well, I've only seen it twice.
Yeah.
And they were very close together.
I definitely didn't see it on a big screen. I saw it at the Phoenix Cinema in Falmouth, which I think goes to show that you don't need to see things on the big screen. I know they put it on IMAX a lot, don't they? I really need to find out. They did it when the Odeon first opened here recently, but timing-wise, I just couldn't do it. But I need to go watch it in IMAX. So they replay it all the time.
All the time. We'll catch it at some point.
And I think that's why I haven't rewatched it, is because I know that at some point I'll rewatch it on the big screen, and that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah. See, it's 10-year-old Timothy Chalamet.
This, we talk about Nolan being quite cold emotionally in a lot of his films, but this is a film that I think is very different than that. This film made me cry.
Yes.
A couple of times, actually. Really resonated with like quite strong thematic elements of my life. And I love a sci-fi. I loved how nerdy it got into like the detail of sci-fi and maybe, the theoretical stuff around time. I think this was Nolan at his most Nolan-y, but it works. Like the story, it wants you to think about time and it wants you to think about these things. It's a perfect sci-fi film.
And the unfathomable of space, those sort of metrics. And when you introduce time into space, it's immediately more interesting than it is down on Earth. And it is sort of like an Odyssey type story too. So if I had a man on a journey trying.
Who doesn't return home to his family for 20 odd years?
And it's about loneliness, and I think
Probably more, actually, right?
yeah. It's a family movie about middle-aged loner again, and I think that really, we really like stories like that. So, yeah, we'll have to catch on IMAX sometime and go see that again. And
We need to
maybe
keep an eye out for that. We need to put like
it happens a lot.
Can we
like
do
you
like a
say.
Google alert for cinema screenings? Like, I need to find out when that's happening.
Yeah, it is the one that replays the most.
Yeah.
It's a confident, like, oh, it's summer, we'll put on the Interstellar for the week too, and so we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll do it. I think that's why I haven't rewatched it. So I just I need to find the right time and place for it. And I think when I got the PlayStation 5, I was like, oh, I should buy it on 4K Blu-ray, but I just never got around to it.
You probably get that quite cheap now too.
Yeah, you probably could. I imagine it would look great.
Yeah. So we're not disappointed by the latest offering from Christopher Nolan. I think he is still a filmmaker worthy of selling out a cinema, and I think that's really cool that people are going to even see a 3-hour epic about a nearly 3,000-year-old story. And if he's the guy to do it, then I'm pretty happy about that. And I was really, really entertained by this. And yeah, I can't be angry. I can't be. Usually, like these sort of things, is like I get a little bit bitter. I'm like, but if this was any other filmmaker, they wouldn't go to see it. They wouldn't care about this story. But maybe people will on the back of this learn from that experience and be like, yeah, like these sort of stories are interesting, and regardless of the filmmaker. But we need event movies to exist to keep cinema existing. I want to keep going to see things like this and experiencing it as much as possible. So, if it takes several of these a year to kind of keep it going, then, we've got to find a way of doing it. So, a thumbs up for me for this experience.
Yeah.
It could have gone, I could have felt really cold. I could have felt nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't feel nothing. I felt something. I felt excited.
Yes. I was entertained and in awe for the majority of the film.
Yeah.
Like I can't, and like you said, like, yes, we spent a lot of money on the tickets, but it did feel worth it. You felt like you got your money's worth. It was big, epic, loud, and
everybody in the cinema, like really busy.
Oh, great experience! Finally,
everybody was like, "Yeah, they're going to see the movie."
Yeah,
that's the thing about IMAX. So that's the only thing. Like I used to have a membership for Cineworld, and it was a lot less. It would cost me £5 extra to go see an IMAX film. But I'd always, if it's like, oh, it's playing IMAX, I'll pay the extra £5 because people pay more, so they generally
behave a bit better.
It's a little bit more like, they're there to see the movie a little bit more.
I'm hoping we get that when we see Spider-Man Brand New Day.
That was a good screen.
We are watching it on the View Epic screen, which I haven't done before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so hopefully we won't get the school crowd since it's the summer holidays.
Loud movie anyway, so we'll be fine.
Yeah. Opening weekend. Expensive tickets again. Yeah, we'll see, I guess.
Sure, we'll tell you if it goes badly.
I'm a 90s Spider-Man TV show kid, and this is what the film looks like to me, so that's why I'm a bit like, Spider-Man.
I want the best for you. I want the best for you. Please, just temper it down a little bit. I don't want you to get disappointed.
Spider-Man, radioactive.
Oh yeah,
Spider-Man.
I thought you were doing a flat note there, but then I realized that actually is the way they do it. I'm very inspired by the video games.
Yeah,
apparently.
Which both big fans of.
Very.
Yeah, I played 2, but I played.
I don't have a PlayStation, so like I was a bit late to getting into the first Spider-Man game. So.
1, the story is better. 2, the story is not as good, but the gameplay mechanics are better.
I played all the old ones. PS1, played the first Spider-Man game, Spider-Man movie, the first one, Spider-Man 2, Ultimate Spider-Man. Played all those games to death, so I know the formula of and those formulas didn't really change as the games went on. They just got like more modernized.
Should we rank our Spider-Man films next week?
Yeah.
All of them.
I could confidently.
Animated ones included.
Yeah, we could throw that in there.
Yeah,
that definitely makes it more.
As in the Spider-Verse ones.
Yeah, definitely makes it more difficult. But yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Cool.
Mark Webb. Your name was
full stop.
Mark Webb. Your surname was Webb,
and that's why you got the job.
And that's why you got the job.
But we all loved 500 Days of Summer.
I didn't like that movie.
You're shitting me.
I've only seen it once and I didn't like it.
That seems like the kind of film that you would love.
Because it was too much. Too much.
That's what I loved about it, though.
It's like, we are the romantic movie of your lifetime, and it was just a bit in love of itself, I thought.
Ah, interesting. That's a new tidbit I've learned from you. It feels like your kind of film.
Oh yeah, I was the kid that like watched Moulin Rouge every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hopeless Romantic.
Did you come to it late?
Like 16, 17?
Hmm.
I was right in the pocket for that. I want to see Great Gatsby in the cinema 4 times. So like I'm like, I don't know, it was just a bit too much for me.
Oh, there you go. Well, on that note,
You didn't think it was going to end with a tidbit on 500 Days of Summer, a movie I haven't thought about in 10 years.
I didn't.
But that's the film angle.
That's the film angle for you. Yeah. So come back next week for more fun. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can rate us on Spotify. You can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Just give us a listen. Share with your friends. Let them know we're out there.
Yeah.
And
helps support the show. So, it makes us feel good inside. It makes my tummy feel, fluttery and butterflies and stuff. And
leave a nice comment.
Yeah.
I like those.
Yeah. Alex and I will text each other going like, we got him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
thanks. We like those. So yeah. See you next week, guys, for more cinematic fun.
See you later.
Goodbye.